Hey, welcome back to NewAfropolitan. If you're new here, my name is Danze and I'll be sharing as many travel hacks and tips as I can to get you ready before you travel next. Today I'm sharing about my first solo trip and why you should solo travel at least once in your lifetime. Let's get into it. My first solo trip was to the United States and I was pretty nervous. It was the first time I was traveling alone, but the best part about it was on the other side, meaning once I got to Washington DC, I was meeting up with family. So that sort of calmed my nerves a little bit. I think it was the best first solo travel experience because I was meeting family on the other side. So the only solo travel part was just my flights, and that in itself helped me understand myself a lot more. What I didn't like, which is like an aisle seat, and what I did like, things like smelling the coffee in the airport, I don't know, mixed with all that perfume from the duty-free shop. Those kinds of things just elicit some sort of excitement to travel in me that I can't really explain, but those are my favorite parts. So if you're going somewhere new and this is your first time traveling, let me share some hacks with you in this vlog that hopefully might help you get along and reduce any anxiety if you have any. Because if you clicked on this video, it's most likely because you might be a bit anxious, and that's okay. We all are before we travel. If you don't know anybody where you're going, don't worry about it. Just take some time to do some research about the place you're going to be at, where the hotel is located, the area it's located in. Are there any police stations around that hotel, hospitals that you can easily get to? Just be aware of your surroundings even before you get to the surroundings. That'll be a lot helpful for you and reduce that anxiety. Also have a solid plan. It's important that you don't just go with the flow, especially if it's your first time. There are times when, it can feel spontaneous to just up and decide to take an Uber to a location that you might not know about. And while that can be fun, unless you have done some solid research, my best bet is don't do it. Don't make it spontaneous. Do it, maybe the second, third time around, but your first time, take it easy, have your plan, do what you plan to do, and you'll come back having enough stories to share anyway. Step number 1, go to NewAfropolitan.com and download my first time traveler checklist. It's free. And then you have it right there with you to just make sure that you go step by step and have everything checked off. And that'll also help just guide you in case you forget anything or if you're forgetful like I am. And it'll make sure that you hit all the marks that you need to do before you take that flight. Well, booking your first flight can feel intimidating, but it's really not, honestly. The first thing you need to do is ask yourself, are you traveling internationally or are you traveling locally? So if you're traveling internationally, it's important to think about the documents you might need. Do you have your passport ready? Do you have your visa ready? Do you have the vaccinations that might be required for that country that you're going to? Helpful resources for you include government websites. So for example, if a website ends in .gov, then that's a helpful resource for you to find information about what you need before you go into that country. There are times when you do a basic search result like apply for visa for X, Y, and Z country, different search results will come up, and most often than not, the people with the highest paid, these organizations who claim to help you apply for visas will often appear at the top because maybe they've sponsored or paid for ads in Google search to appear at the top. It's tricky to navigate that because it might look legit and maybe they do help you with visas, but they might also charge you an extra fee for doing that, or they might be scam websites. So to avoid that, most often than not, if you're not working with a travel agency and you're just doing it on your own, look for a government website. Okay, so then once that's sorted, the fun part begins. You can head over to Google Flights, the Hopper app, or Expedia as ways to sort of research the costs of different flights. So the reason why I like these tools to track flights is because I can set up my destination, the time frame of when I'm going, and it'll list a bunch of costs and different flights and the prices and all the details, and then you can head over to that airline website and make your booking, and that tends to be a lot cheaper than going through, say, a travel agent. But if you want everything done and just taken care of and you don't have to think about anything, then go to a travel agent. And then a small piece of advice is, if it's your first time traveling solo, please don't try and make it a day trip, especially if it's an international one, because there is a micro trend that's going around that, you can just book a flight, take a trip for a day and come back in the evening. While it seems fun, it's not the best for first-time travelers, even though it might save you some costs in the long run, but you miss out on a lot, including the time and the enjoyment of just actually being in a culture that's not your own for a couple of days, because there might be, instances of jet lag that you might experience. Anything might come up along the way that maybe you don't like, and maybe you want to give yourself room for enjoying and relaxing and just getting to know a place. So my recommendation is, if it's your very first time, do not jump on trends. Do not jump on those trends of going for a one-day trip, unless maybe it's local. If it's local, that might be a different story altogether.